I'm Vinny Politan. Welcome to Closing Arguments. We begin tonight with big, I mean big breaking news out of Chula Vista, California. It's a story, a case, a mystery we've been covering since January. And tonight, a huge development. It's the case involving this couple, Larry and Maya, also known as May Millete. High school sweethearts. She went missing January 7th of this year. Then Larry all of a sudden cut off her family from visiting their children. He lawyered up. Well, today, a whole different scene. Maya's never been found. But this was the scene at his house today as investigators and the marshals and everyone else showed up to arrest Larry Millete and charge him with the murder of his wife, Maya. This is a big, big development in this case, in this story. We've had Maya's family on here countless times, Maya's sister and brother-in-law, and there were some nights where they just seemed lost and broken. But tonight they're getting some answers and some sense of justice. It's the first step. Remember, Maya's body still has not been recovered. But this is a big step. When you lose a loved one, you're never going to get closure. All you can do is hope that the questions are answered and that someone is held responsible. This is a step in that direction. Let's take a listen. This just happened moments ago. Let's take a listen to the chief of police and the district attorney from out in California.
On Monday, October 18th, yesterday, my office filed a criminal case in San Diego County Superior Court charging Larry Millete with the murder of May. Following his arrest today, the defendant was booked into jail and is being held without bail. He is scheduled to be arraigned this Thursday at 1:30 in the afternoon at the South Bay Courthouse. As we make this announcement, I know the hearts of the community are broken, as are the hearts of May's family. I wish we had better news for them. The only thing that we can do in the face of this senseless violence is to bring justice. I'm going to provide a brief synopsis of the evidence. Understand that a lot of the evidence cannot be shared. It will be shared in the courtroom. However, there is an unsealed portion of the arrest warrants that includes evidence that would not compromise additional investigation. This case, the investigation in this case, while we know that Larry Millete is responsible for the murder, is ongoing, and bringing May home to have a proper burial for her family is ongoing. So what you will get is the things that will not compromise a jury trial. We are hopeful that now is the time that you come forward if you have any information. We also know more facts now that might help somebody who saw the vehicle that we believe was the transport vehicle that was used to dispose of May's body, to search their memories and understand from what I'm going to describe that there is no specific location and that the radius may be very vast and large. So it can be someone in the county, somebody outside our county. That's why we appreciate the media attention that hopefully will allow someone to see this and think, I did see a Lexus pulled off the road somewhere on January 8th of 2021. May wanted a divorce for many reasons. Her husband, Larry, did not want the divorce. Larry was trying to hold on to May, and he resorted to contacting what are called spellcasters. I've never had a case where that was involved. These spellcasters would be asked to make May want to stay in the relationship. But as December of 2020 came, those messages to spellcasters were a lot more threatening. He was asking for May to become incapacitated, for May to be in an accident, to have broken bones so that she could stay at home, thus displaying his homicidal ideations to harm May. Now we go to November 8th. Security video retained by Chula Vista PD showed the defendant on January 8th at 5:58 a.m. in the morning moving his Lexus GX460, a black Lexus, with the license plate that bears the name Melani. The Lexus was already backed into the driveway, but Larry Millete repositioned that Lexus where the back of the Lexus is in the entrance of that garage. He repositioned it where no video camera can capture whether a body was put in the back of the Lexus or not. Larry leaves, and he does not return to the house for 11 hours and 21 minutes. He leaves his phone behind so that there is no ability to track the GPS or location on the phone. He takes his 4-year-old and leaves the 2 older children at home. If you saw that vehicle anytime on January 8th, please call and report that information.
We're going to play the whole thing for you a little bit later on in the program, but a lot of information coming out during all of this. The big headline, though, Larry Millete now charged with murder. Thursday, he'll be arraigned formally in court, and we may learn some more about Larry Millete. We'll get to see what he looks like because he's been hiding. He's been hiding. He's been staying out of sight and staying away from Maya's family, obviously. Okay, let's bring in our think tank tonight and break down some of the things that we're learning. Joining us tonight in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney Michael Bixson; in Seattle, Washington, trial attorney Ann Bremner; and in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney, former federal prosecutor and law professor at Texas Southern University, Michael Sterling. Great to see everyone. Let's start with the motive, okay? It's old-fashioned. As a husband and a wife, she wants out. And on the 7th, the last phone call she makes, Michael Bixson, the last phone call she ever makes is to a divorce attorney. To me, that's powerful evidence.
Yeah, and it's also heartbreaking to see that, the relationship, the way that it should have ended versus the way that it appears it ended, especially when she's already, reaching out, making appointments to these attorneys. And not only that, but there were all these signs leading up to it that, the family saw and that everyone else has seen now that it's out sort of in the public. And it's sort of, obviously it's disturbing to see that she was so close to ending this relationship. And unfortunately, it didn't seem to work out the way that she wanted.
And Bremner, one strange, bizarre, twisted fact that came out was that he was contacting spellcasters. I guess spellcasters are people who cast spells on other humans. And he was contacting these spellcasters first to try to get her to change her mind. But then when he realized her mind was not going to change and she was going to leave him, trying to get them to cast a spell on her so she would break her bones, she couldn't walk, she'd be incapacitated. It's like a scene from the movie Misery where she's going to have to stay in that home because Larry doesn't want to lose May.
Right. It's like that song, I put a spell on you because you're mine. I mean, that's what he wanted. And then he just progresses to homicide from wanting to hurt her through these spellcasters and then homicide. I was contacted on behalf, either it was her family or friends or both, back when this happened, asking if I would help get this case into the media because I had the Susan Cox Powell case. And I'm so glad to see this ending now after all the angst that this family's been through. And the lack of information. I mean, she just disappeared, just vanished, into thin air. And it sounds like they built a good case, especially with the spellcaster information. Like the prosecutor said, I've never had a case with this kind of evidence. Well, I don't think any of us have.
All right, there's some circumstantial evidence here, Michael Sterling. I want you to give me an idea of how strong or persuasive you think it could potentially be. This is stuff that they released publicly as part of the arrest warrant. They've got security video at 5:58 in the morning on January 8th with his black Lexus backing into the garage, okay? So you can't see what's happening in the garage, but he backs it into the garage and then takes off. Instead of going to work, leaves the two older children home, takes the 4-year-old with him, and is telling people that he was going to the beach without his phone and comes back 11 and a half hours later. That, to me, is a very wild, crazy kind of story. You don't do something like that. It's not normal.
Yeah, I agree with you, Vinny. It's not something that's ordinary. It's not something that's normal. And it certainly provides significant circumstantial evidence for the prosecution to use, and certainly it's a portion of what led to his ultimate indictment or ultimate indictment in this case. Vinny. I mean, on the other hand, the prosecution is going to have to deal with the fact, and I know their investigation is ongoing, but they're certainly going to have to deal with the fact that they haven't recovered a body yet. And so that certainly, is something that, they're going to have to address and deal with and figure out how to demonstrate through the circumstantial evidence, as you mentioned, that Larry is guilty of this crime.
Yeah, let's go through, Michael Bixson will go through some more of these strange circumstances. And, to me, it doesn't make sense, but some defense attorney is going to explain it inside a courtroom if and when there's a trial here. So you've got her last call is on the 7th, where she calls for the divorce attorney. He apparently knows because they have communications from him where he's talking about Maya getting serious. She's serious. She's going to get a divorce that he informs his boss. Then I want you to comment on these two things. You've got on January 7th, again, this is the last communication from her is around 8:15. She sends a message to her family. At 9:57 that night, Michael, there's a video they have, surveillance video from a neighbor, where you hear these loud bangs. They had experts from the FBI listen to it, try to break it down. They could not determine what the noise was, but loud bangs at 9:57, and then at 10:34, all the kids, okay, we're talking about young kids, the youngest is 4, neighbors say they're in the backyard playing, making noise. Who puts the kids in the backyard 10:30 at night and then wakes up the youngest at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to the beach for 11 and a half hours? Makes no sense to me, Michael.
No, absolutely. And don't get me wrong. Look, it's circumstantial at the end of the day, but it's powerful circumstantial evidence. I mean, you put this in front of a jury, and they're really going to question what was going on here. This is not what normal people do. Letting the kids play out at night, taking them to the beach the next day without the phone. I mean, everything around here raises question marks. And if you're a defense attorney, they're not the kind of question marks that you want. So, I mean, while it is circumstantial, it is really, really not good for the defense.
Now, the other part of this, and that they laid out very well, was proof of life. And this might be one of the reasons there's been a delay in bringing these charges, because they found out a lot of this stuff pretty early on. But now it's been 9 months, and they say 9 months, no withdrawals from any accounts. All her valuables, all the family cars were all at the house. The only thing that was missing was her phone. Somehow her phone disappeared. But everything else is in place, and there's been no one has seen her, no one has heard from her, and she just stops communicating after 8:15, which is like 2 hours before the loud bangs. She sends a Facebook message to her family. Again, these are circumstances that prosecutors are going to have to rely upon, because at this point we don't know exactly how she was killed.
Well, and what about the kids? You loved your kid. I mean, that's going to be the most compelling, proof of life or lack of life evidence. She would not abandon those children. It's just like the Susan Cox Powell case. She had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. Josh Powell said he took them camping at midnight in a snowstorm. When he came back, his wife was missing. Oh, and guess what else was missing? Her phone, just like in this case. So, I mean, all of that evidence is so compelling, but especially she wouldn't leave. And I think a jury's going to agree that it's a no-body case. You can win no-body cases. She's no longer alive.
All right, we're going to talk more about this a little bit later on in the program. Again, the headline, Larry Millete under arrest, will be arraigned on Thursday, charged with the murder of his wife, Maya Millete.